Welcome back everyone, Oz here. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And today we're taking a look at everyone's favorite kind of person on r/EntitledParents. Entitled mother doesn't want to take care of her injured child because she might get blood on her clothes. In the mid-90s, just before I became supervisor, I was a full-time swimming instructor but had to replace the lifeguards from time to time. I wasn't the lifeguard, but I wasn't incompetent. People weren't in danger or drowned while I was on duty. I went and became a first responder and first aid instructor after this incident. Be warned, there are a few disgusting bits, but the main course is the entitled mother. So this situation started like any other pool situation starts. Entitled mother doesn't want to get her hair or clothes wet, so she stays in the park area near the fence to watch over her precious 8-year-old kid while he swims and jumps off the diving board. The kid isn't a super strong swimmer, but he doesn't seem to struggle to get out of the water after jumping in and doesn't seem tired at all. At one point, he goes up the ladder to the 3-meter, 10 feet springboard. He is allowed to do so, and I have seen him jump off that diving board a few times already. Sweetie, turn around. Mommy wants to take a picture of you on the big diving board. The kid, who is on the diving board, turns around and, avert your eyes children, slips off the board, falls off, hits his head on the board itself before finally hitting the concrete floor, 3 meters lower. When he hit his head on the board, I knew it was bad. It was actually worse because a piece of his scalp about 4 centimeters across was ripped off and is now stuck to the board over him. He broke some teeth, hit his head pretty hard, obviously had at least a concussion, but had no apparent injuries on his torso, arms, and legs. The kid is awesome. He doesn't cry, talks and jokes around with the lifeguards, and follows the directions we give him. As we evacuate the basin, call the paramedics, and start administering first aid, entitled mother rushes in. I figure she is terrified and panicking after seeing her son fall down. I think she's in shock and will need our support while waiting for the ambulance. I start planning what I am going to say to her to comfort her. I think I have an idea of what she's going through. I think I can help calm her down. I think. I am wrong. Entitled mother starts scolding and yelling at her kid. Johnny, why did you have to fall? You ruined my day off. Now mommy can't hug you right now. You'll smear blood all over my dress. In this particular situation, my team is currently assessing his condition and immobilizing him to prevent further injury if he had hurt his back. So he should not be encouraged to move. See, the man says I can't go close to you because you might be hurt. Ma'am, you can go next to him and comfort him, but please don't move him and ask him to stay still. Do you hear that, honey? The man says I can't hold you right now. This goes on for a few minutes until the paramedics arrive. They do their job and are shocked by entitled mother's reaction. They call the cops and child protection services to have them wait for the ambulance at the hospital to have a talk with entitled mother. No, sweetie, mommy won't go in the ambulance with you. I'll get blood on my dress. I told you already. The lifeguards will pay the taxi and I'll meet you there. Plus, I have to go call your father and bother him during his meeting. Entitled mother turns to us, demands we give her money for a taxi. We had vouchers for emergency situations, just did not expect my manager to give her one. She then asks for the phone, but calls a friend instead of the father. No, I won't be able to go to lunch with you later. My kid fell and is hurt. I can't believe I'll have to spend the rest of my day at the hospital. No, I didn't call him. I'll talk to him later tonight when we get home. Are you free tomorrow so we can have our lunch? Okay, great idea. We will go shopping afterwards. Entitled mother leaves without signing the incident report or speaking to the lifeguards. 2 to 3 days later, the kid and his father come to the pool. The father thanks us for taking care of his kid. The kid shows us his cool stitches where his scalp was reattached. He shows us the missing teeth and tells us the dentist said his adult teeth were coming out, so he would have a few holes for a while. The kid was really happy to have plenty of holes for straws. He even used 4 straws at the same time earlier that day. He was sad that he wasn't allowed back in the water for 4 weeks, but he promised he would be back before the summer ended. I don't know what happened to entitled mother, and I didn't ask. I'm just happy the father wasn't like the mother and that the kid powered through the traumatic experience like a champ. Oh my god, Johnny, I can see that you're bleeding everywhere, but I have a lunch date with Samantha tomorrow and I can't afford to get a new dress with your blood. Just tough it out like this little stormtrooper you are, okay? Okay? You fucking terrible mother. Entitled mother steals money given to me by my dying father. Just a heads up that this will be pretty long, so sadly in this post, the entitled mother is my mother. Just a little backstory, my mom has always been abusive mentally and physically, and is basically a selfish human being. Also, because of my financial situation, I live with my mom and stepdad as the price of renting here is just too expensive. However, I do actually pay for my own bills, buy my own food, etc. My dad was the only person who really helped me financially when I didn't have any money and actually stopped me from becoming homeless. My mom gave me no support financially and emotionally. EM is my mother, me is me, obviously. AD is awesome dad. So, one day I was looking through my bank account online because I really wanted to buy myself some merch for a few bands I really love and wanted to give myself an estimation of how much I could spend. A few hours later, I had $300 sent to my account. I thought this was a mistake and was going to call my bank because if I didn't, I might be charged with a whole list of things, but when I had a look at the receipt, it said, "Happy birthday. I hope you have a great birthday. Love, Dad." At this point, I was emotional because not even my mother has done anything like this and I just respected him so much. So later that day, I went out to get some of my favorite food to bring back and then check my account again. The $300 was gone. I know it wasn't me because the total of the food I bought was $20. This is when I had a horrible feeling and thought that my mother could have taken it, as she had stolen something from me before, but not to this extent. I walked up to her, clearly pissed. "Did you take money from my account?" "Yeah, I used it for the bills to get ahead." At this point, my face was pale and I was really upset. "Did you take $300 out today?" Yeah, why?" "Dad gave me that as a birthday gift. You know he's getting more and more sick and this may be the last thing he ever gives me." "But you need to pay the bills here." "Are you serious? Did you hear anything I said?" "It's just money." I wanted to buy myself something nice to remind myself of my dad for when he passes away and have something nice to remember him by. "Well, why don't you ask him for more money?" "He already gave me $300. Why are you so selfish?" "How dare you? You're lucky I'm not kicking you out." I was just pissed at this moment, so I called my dad and told him what happened, and he was understandably upset as well. I asked him to never send money to my account because my mom had actually looked into my account as I had the password already saved onto the computer. I have since changed the password and I told my mother that if she does it again, then I'll report her for fraud and theft. "It's okay, son. Money grows on trees. It doesn't matter." It's just money." I don't care what platform it was designed for, I'm using Safari. EM is my entitled mom, CC is call center guy, CD is my chill dad, S is sister, me is myself, hotel is Trivago. So first a little background. My mom considers herself type A and everything has to be perfect and her way. If not, you have a problem. As you may imagine, her being like this was embarrassing for me growing up. Plenty of stories about her from back then, but I'll stick with this one for now. I was visiting my parents and my kid sisters for their spring break and staying at their house for the week. Entitled mother uses some telehealth thing where she has sister video chat with a psychologist because sister has some anger issues, etc. According to dad, the last few calls there have had technical issues and entitled mother had dad call customer support each time and got help. Here's how it went this time. Not exact words, but as well as I remember. "Hey, good evening. We have an appointment set for sister at 8 tonight and it's appearing on the schedule but says it's unavailable." "Okay, let me take a look." Gives info to CC. Yes, I can see you have an appointment. Are you using the app?" Apparently the last few times they had used the app, it had a few technical issues. Entitled mother, who has been listening, "No, I'm using my Mac. I'm on Safari." "Ah, well, that's your problem, ma'am. Our service isn't 100% compatible with Safari. Our ideal browsers are Firefox and Chrome. Switch over to one of those and you'll be good to go." "But your app says it's iOS. How can you have an iOS-based app and not have your website work with the iOS-based browser?" My mom fancies herself an expert on technology and has been proven incorrect about things like this numerous times. "So you're saying if we switch over to Chrome for this, we'll be good? Great, thanks for your Oh no, I don't care what it's designed for, I use Safari for everything, and I need to use it for this. My appointment for a sister is supposed to start now. Well, ma'am, if you don't want to use our recommended browsers for our app, I could always have the doctor call you on your cell phone. Is, random number here, the best number to use? Yeah, hurry up. I'm going to place you on a brief hold, 1 moment. Entitled mother proceeds to complain for 3 minutes about how incompetent CC is, blah blah blah, and how if he knew even the slightest bit how to do his job, he'd have the company change their compatibility. Me, who has been listening the whole time, I don't think it has anything to do with CC. He only works in the call center and probably has no say over that kind of thing. Oh yeah? Well, a good customer service employee would report an issue like this, especially because they probably get tons of complaints about their service not working. I haven't looked, but I bet it says something about compatibility when you go on their website to buy the service. Well, they can't have an iOS app and not work with an iOS browser. It doesn't work that way. Okay, ma'am, I have contacted the doctor and he will be in touch in the next few minutes. Is there anything else? As a matter of fact, there is. I'd like to tell you that you are not a very good customer service representative if you refuse to take important complaints to your employer. Excuse me, I don't follow. I'm sure you get tons of complaints about incompatibilities and you refuse to address them. I expect to be refunded for the hassle you and your company put me through tonight. My daughter has a strict bedtime and needs to get enough sleep for school. Her appointment is 1 hour long and was set to end at her bedtime. As I said, this week was spring break for my sister, so it didn't make a difference when she went to sleep, especially if it was just 15 minutes or so later than usual. I'm very sorry, miss, but I'm going to have to disconnect this call now. I don't like the way I'm being spoken to. You have a good night, sir. Sir being dad who had called and was still there. You never worked in customer service, did you, Mom? She hadn't. Alright, rant time. So the reason why you can't just have an iOS app work in the iOS browser is because they are built on 2 fundamentally different frameworks. The iOS app is probably built in Object-C, which is Apple's main programming language they use in iOS, while in Safari it uses browser-based markup as well as, the back-end technologies to go with it, so the website was probably built in a very separate language, built in a separate development team, off of probably, I would say, a mix of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and maybe an Object-C or C# backend, depending on if they're using .NET or some other framework, possibly even PHP if they're sadists. Basically, Entitled Parent was asking why you couldn't drive a boat on land. Because a car can do it, they're both modes of transport, so why can't you drive this boat on land? Because it wasn't built for that. Stop the flight so we can get on it. My older sister works as a flight attendant for a very well-known airline. She has a lot of stories that she loves telling when she comes back. However, my sister recently broke her leg after slipping down outdoor steps when it was icy, and her company gave her temporary work as a gate agent. She was working a late night shift and had just closed the gate for the last flight to New York for that week. 2 passengers were missing, and after making 10 final calls for the passengers and waiting 10 extra minutes, air traffic control said they had to close the gate. Around 10 minutes after the gate was shut, a woman dressed in jogging bottoms and a very revealing shirt is walking casually down towards the gate with a small female child running behind her, both carrying little carry-on suitcases and holding Starbucks cups. They look so relaxed, but my sister knows there's no way they're getting on the flight, especially now that the door of the aircraft is probably shut. The woman walks up to the desk, which clearly says, "Flight ABCDE to New York has closed," and rudely thrusts the passes in my sister's face. "We're here to board the flight." "I'm sorry, miss, but the flight closed almost 10 minutes ago, and there is no way you're getting in that plane." "I am the paying passenger here, and I demand that you allow me in the flight that I paid for." "I'm really sorry, but it is your responsibility to make sure that you are at the gate on time so that you can board your flight. Now, I'm going to have to call someone to deal with your issue." "What issue? We're getting on this plane or I'll sue you for discrimination. I am a single mother trying to get my daughter back home and you are refusing to do your job." Sister calls security. Let us on this flight this instant. Miss, you're going to have to come with us. Entitled mother actually stops screaming, nods, and follows security. But your career is over. Don't you know who I am? Turns out the woman was on a no-fly list anyway for being drunk on a flight, and her daughter were promptly kicked out. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more of my Entitled Parents videos, then feel free to click on the end card Entitled Parents playlist. If you want to see something a little different but still involves narration, then check out the Ask Reddit playlist. But if you want something a little different than usual, then maybe check out my r/Tinder video. And until next time, I'll see y'all later.